Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, no matter whatever time or whatever area you're in the world. This is Holton Buggs, your Executive Vice President of Sales, and welcome to another edition of our Millionaire Mentorship call that we have every Sunday night. As you just heard our menu going, saying every single Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check your area code or your, not your area code, but check your time zone so that you can make sure that you're on this call accordingly. Hopefully, we've got many brand new people on the call who were not even in the business 7 days ago. I know we put in thousands of distributors that actually came in this particular week here. Somewhere in the neighborhood of around 6,000 distributors joined us since last week's call. So I'd be hoping to say that we've got plenty of those people on the call for round two of our Millionaire Mentorship call that we're going to have this evening here. Last week, guys, we had a lot of feedback from the call, and a great call that we put on last week. And you know what? We didn't finish it, though. We only got through a small portion of it, five topics that we got through, and we needed to get through 10. So this week is going to be the part two version. So this will be a continuation of last week's conference call. But before I even get into the call, I'll give you guys a minute or two to send a text message out, whoever you need to send a text message to, or make sure that everybody's dialed in and got themselves in a very quiet place where you've got no distractions whatsoever. You got your pen, you've got your pad, and you got your listening gear on, whatever that is, your listening gear. So this is the time to get yourself educated. Once 1 hour per week, and sometimes when I'm doing a call, obviously it may go an hour and 10 minutes or whatever it is. But anyway, when we get on these calls, guys, we give it our all. And no matter what time it is, no matter what day it is, holiday, whatever it is, we get on this call and we give it our 100%. And so we want to make sure that every single person, the time that you put into listening on these calls, we want to make sure that every single hour that you listen to is absolutely worth it. I can tell you right now, we've got some exciting things going on all around the place right now. We've got people who are getting in our company. I just got some text messages of new people who just joined us and zooming through our pin levels like crazy. Some people who are on diamond runs for this month. I know we've got some brand new first month emerald runs that are coming in, people who are going sapphire in 3 days, who just getting involved in our company, people who are ruby in their first 12 days. Just over the past couple of weeks here. So things are absolutely rocking in organo gold all over the entire world. I know that we've got some meetings going over in China, not China, but over in Asia. We've got a China trip going on. We have John Securus, who happens to be over there, who's the guest feature for the China trip for many of our Asian Asian distributors that we have who earn that trip. John Securus will be accompanying them along with Shane Moran as well. So I know there's some big meetings going on over there in Thailand. We've been breaking diamonds in Thailand like crazy. This month there were two diamonds that broke in Thailand under Carlos Oatsby, who's a diamond that's over there who's just doing a phenomenal job as he went over there to actually start the market, and actually he's been investing a lot of his time over there developing the market. And I'll talk about developing international markets as well as I open up this call before we really get into our major subject, because that seems to be a very big topic that people ask about. And I want to share something with you in regards to being a professional networker, okay, a professional business person in network marketing, and how to go about really paying attention to what's going on and what's best for you. What's best for you? So often in network marketing, in our vehicle that we use to produce wealth, so often people, they listen and they get the wrong information and they listen to the wrong people. Now, it doesn't mean that the people who they're listening to always are bad people or have bad intentions. It's just that you've got to understand where to have your radio station tuned into. I've always said that if it's not a person who is your upline, who's plugged in, okay, your upline who is plugged into the system, then you need to make sure if you hear it, then you bring it back to your plugged-in upline and counsel with them and make sure that the information is correct for you. Why is that? It's not that necessarily that they'll even give you bad information, but they may not understand or know your business the way that your upline does. See, remember, your upline has a vested interest in your business. Your upline has a vested interest in what it is that you are doing. They've got something to lose by giving you bad advice. I want you just to imagine here that we had Edwin Haynes. Let's just say we got Edwin Haynes, and he was giving advice to Sam Bean, okay? Edwin Haynes giving advice to Sam and Kim Bean. Now, Edwin personally sponsored Sam and Kim Bean, long-term friends and business associates as well. They've done business together for a while. Now, Sam Bean is a major, significant leg of Edwin Haynes. It's probably one of his biggest legs that he has. Now, I want you to imagine that if some information came from Edwin Haynes and Sam Bean was listening to that, do you think Edwin is going to make sure whatever information he gives, do you think he's going to hurt Sam Bean's, give him information that will be detrimental to his business? Of course not. Of course not. Why? Because, see, Sam Bean may turn around and give that information to Emmanuel Bernstein, and then turn around and give that information to Jeremy Roma, then turn around and give that to Suleiman and Celia Rahman, and to so on and so forth. And next thing you know, you've got a whole leg of business that has now got bad information. And when bad information comes into an organization, two things takes place. Number one is going to take place is confusion. Confusion is going to take place, which means that people will not know what to do, right? Because, see, if he gave bad information, if Edwin gave information that I wouldn't be giving, which I know he wouldn't, but let's just say in this example he did, well, somebody down the line is going to feel a little uncomfortable with that, and they're going to determine whether or not they should continue listening to whoever gave them that information. So confusion sets into the group. The other way that confusion is going to set into the group is that the organization, the success team, those that may not be of a leadership pen may be wondering, what should I do? Well, I heard this on the call. That means I should be doing this, or blah, 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 blah. And now you've got confusion. Ladies and gentlemen, a confused organization does nothing. A confused mind does nothing. Why? Because it's in a state of confusion. It doesn't know whether to go left. It doesn't know whether to go right. And what happens is inaction and inactivity settles into an organization, and that's how organizations' growth stop or go backwards because of confusion. And so it is your job to eliminate the confusion within your organization. Now, as it relates to international sponsoring and building an international business, I want to share something with you here because what I've recognized is that my talk that I'm going to give today, part two, the last number 10, I would say, number 10 of all of our signs of failure here, that signs that you're addicted to failure, number 10 really relates to what I'm going to say now, and I'll get to it when I get to number 10. But what happens is when you're building an international business, what happens is some people think that it's on automatic pilot. Some people think that, well, you know what, it's a new country, OrganoGold hasn't gone there before, it's going to be easy, everybody's going to want to get in, I got to get in and get there first, and that's how I'm going to get rich, strike it rich, and next thing you know, it's over, okay? Now, I want to share something with you. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I'm going to give you the real truth of being a business person, because I'm not going to just tell you things to get you excited or tell you things just so that you believe something. I want to tell you what the real deal is. I've been doing this now for coming on 24 years that I've been doing this, so I kind of got my feet wet with international business building, international building of an organization, because some people, when they hear of a country, they believe that I've got to go run off there. I've got to go run off to a particular country because the opportunity may not necessarily be here. Okay? Well, first thing, I want you to understand, who are you listening to when you hear the word or you hear the phrase that, well, the growth is over in the United States? That's the first thing. Who have you heard that from? Have you heard that from Shane Moran? Have you heard that from me? Have you heard it from Bernie Chua? Okay? Have you heard that from Jose Ardon? Have you heard that from John Secouris? Have you heard that from Luis Ventura or David Amonitier? Okay? Of course you haven't. Why? Because the biggest growth and the biggest income that they have comes from North America, the United States. I got the report again yesterday. We slipped down 1%. 58% of all revenue in Organogold comes from North America. 58%. Over 60+% of the diamonds in Organogold are from North America. Okay? From North America. All right? And so when you look at the growth, where is the growth coming from? As I spoke about the number of distributors that joined Organogold last week, almost 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people. I don't know what the actual number was. Where do you think the biggest number of those people who came from? They came from North America. They came from North America. Okay? When we look at North America, ladies and gentlemen, so that you understand what you have your hands a hold of here, and stop listening to those that don't have the information that I have, then you'll understand that you can build right here. You've got acres of diamonds right here. And this is not me trying to discourage you from building outside, or it's not even me trying to promote North America for something that it's not. I'm just here to give you the real facts. As you remember, when I was at the VIP red carpet, I told everybody that it was a new country that I was opening that I'm about to focus on, and I told you it was North America. Why? Because as I look, there's only 18 states in North America out of the 50 that we have in the United States. Only 18 of them have actually produced a diamond. 18 states have produced a diamond. When I look over in Arizona and I look at how big of a network marketing demographic Arizona is, we've got 0 diamonds out of there. We've got no emeralds, and we only have maybe about 3 or 4 rubies there. When I look at Tennessee, we've got no diamonds in Tennessee whatsoever. We've got no emeralds in Tennessee. We just finally, with Jeremy Roman, had our first diamond in Louisiana, and we only have 1 other emerald in Louisiana, and maybe a couple of rubies that we have over there. We've got no diamonds in Arkansas. We've got none in Iowa. We've got none, over in the far northeast, over there north of where Suleiman is, in that area. And then in Pennsylvania, I think we've got 1 diamond. That Suleiman Rahman is the blue diamond. Okay? When I look at the state of Florida, ladies and gentlemen, when I look at Florida right now, specifically when you look at Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and you look at Orlando, and you look at Tampa. You know, I see Odile Perez. She's over there. We've got a diamond over there in Orlando. We've got Bass Grant and Angel Caraballo, who's over there in Tampa, Florida. So we've got a blue diamond, a black diamond in Tampa, Florida. When I look at Fort Lauderdale, obviously we've got Mike and Marlene Stott's new diamonds that are there. You know, we've got Michael and Georgette Maburak, who's over there as well, and maybe a couple of other diamonds that we have. And I say out of Florida, I've got more pins in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, there's only 900 homes where I live in my neighborhood. We've got a crown ambassador who lives there. We've got a crown who lives in my neighborhood. We've got a blue diamond who lives in my neighborhood. We've got another diamond that lives in my neighborhood. And we've got several rubies and sapphires that live in my neighborhood. And that's out of only 900 homes. And you're telling me that you've got to go off to a foreign country? You haven't even developed a consultant or a superstar on your street. Okay? That's just in my neighborhood. We're not even talking about the entire city of Houston, Texas. And Houston, Texas, guess what? We've got 2 of the crown ambassadors live right there in Houston, Texas. Right here in Houston, Texas. Another blue diamond, several more blue diamonds that live there. We got Abby Akiola there, blue diamond, $500,000 earner. We got Marvin Martinez, blue diamond, $1 million earner who lives right there in Houston, Texas. So we've got many, you've got Emmanuel and Kim Bernstein living right there, blue diamonds, and barely missed the $1 million earner by about $100,000 last year, who lives right there in Houston, Texas. It's not including Sam Bean, who's a diamond, $250,000, almost a $500,000 ring earner, right there in Houston, Texas. And there's so many other diamonds that I've left off the list. Okay, Chris Oliver, $500,000 ring earner, right there in Houston, Texas. Houston has the largest concentration of diamonds, or the biggest number of diamonds than anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. People say, well, why is that? It's one thing, ladies and gentlemen, it's called leadership. It's called leadership. You can develop them right next door if you choose to. You can develop them right next door if you choose to. I'm not taking personal credit for it. They did it on their own, but I can tell you that was on purpose. I wanted to build it convenient. I wanted to make sure that Houston, if I'm going to live there, there's going to be diamonds. Anywhere that I live, there's going to be diamonds, and there's going to be blue diamonds. There's going to be black diamonds. There's going to be crowns and crown ambassadors right where I live. You say, well, maybe that's Houston because it's got a large population. It didn't matter if I lived in Timbuktu, Africa. If there was a population of at least a few thousand people, I'm going to have me some crowns there because it's all leadership, okay? So I don't want you to start thinking you've got to go to a foreign land to go build a business. Typically, when you go to a foreign country to build, let me share something with you so that you really understand. If you don't have at least $100,000 budget to set aside to go develop that particular market, you're probably going to make a little money, but you're not going to have a long-term business there. I don't know of one person who has developed a long-term, successful international business without being willing to and having at least $100,000 to invest into that particular market. I'm giving you now the real deal. So if you want to understand how the big boys and big girls do it, I'm giving it to you from the top here. Okay? Now, this is not to discourage you. It is just to manage your expectations so that you know. Ask Steve and Rhonda Martin how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they have invested into going to build the markets in Asia. Ask the Steinkellers how many, don't listen to thousands here, ask the Steinkellers how many millions of dollars that they have put back into their business to develop all of the countries where they have organizations. People look at them and say, wow, they're lucky. You know what? These Steinkeller brothers, they just got access and people all over the place. No. What they did is they built their home base first. And you know what they did as well? They didn't spend all of their money. They kept 50% of their money, and it went right back into the organization. It went right back into the organization so that they can go and that they can build overseas. I talked to Zarko Drozek. Ask Zarko Drozek how many hundreds of thousands, if not he's invested 7 figures, over $1 million into international building of markets. I was talking to Zarko last week. He says, Holton, I have, my wife and I, we just bought a house. They pay cash for their house. He says, but there's only one issue. He says, what? I said, what is that issue? He said, it's been 7 weeks and I haven't seen the house. I just gave my wife the money. We bought the house. I haven't seen it because I'm on the road all the time, and I had to come back. He had to go back over to Germany so that he could at least see the house that his wife is living in. Okay? So what it is, they're planning on a long-term future. This is not a lottery ticket. This is not playing craps where you roll the dice and say, well, I found me one leader over here in Nigeria, and I'm just going to get rich off of this one person. Or I found me a leader over here in Thailand, and I'm going to get rich off of Thailand. No, ask Carlos Oatsby, since Thailand is open, how often he's been there. Okay? Ask him how long he's been there. All right? We've got diamonds. Nat and Shanita Piranaputra. They live in L.A., Los Angeles, but they're from Thailand. So guess where they've been 9 months out of 12? They've been over in Thailand building and developing the Thailand market. Building and developing the Thailand market. Ask them how many hundreds of thousands, and they're new diamonds. Ask them how many hundreds of thousands have you invested? Have you gotten to 6 figures already within your first year of investment back into your business of building in Thailand? Of course they have. So what I'm saying is this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a business. Most people look at it and say, well, it's so easy to expand. Well, that's one of the benefits of network marketing is the ability to expand rapidly, and to have multiple points of distribution. You can have international points of distribution all over the world. You can do that. But it's not cheap, and it's not free. It's a business, and you're going to have to treat it like a business. Ask Jared Wilkins and Craig Hill. Okay? Ask them about starting an organization over in Australia, having an organization over in Japan, how expensive it is. And I was talking to Jared, Jared and Craig several weeks ago, and I said, hey, man, listen, yeah, you should go. He says, man, but Bugs, you know what the plane tickets cost, right? I said, yeah. You know what the hotels cost, right? I said, yeah. You know what the meeting rooms cost? I said, yeah. I said, but remember when we sat down, what you told me what you wanted? You told me you wanted an international 7-figure business. It's what you told me you wanted. You wanted to be able to make $1 million a year minimum from all around the world. So what you got to do is you got to be prepared for what you're asking for. And you know what he said? He says, I'm so glad we have the means, and I'm so glad we're prepared. But let him have had to do this at the level of ruby or at the level of sapphire or at the level of emerald, the income of an emerald. You know what? That organization would have starved. And I can tell you right now what happens is this. So many people, and this is not just Organo Gold, this is worldwide. This is company-wide. I've watched so many companies, and I've watched the mistakes that they've made. I've watched also the benefits, the things that they've done well. And one of the biggest mistakes that I've watched is how people conduct themselves when it comes to international markets. You know, I had a talk with Chris Oliver. We had lunch or breakfast actually this past Thursday. And we sat down and we were talking, and he says, man, I'm seeing all of these folks, actually 2 people who recognize the same thing, Carl and Angie Thompson as well. The Diamonds right there in Florida. I didn't even mention them. They're in Florida as well. But Chris Oliver told me something. He said, Holton, he says, man, listen. He said, now if you know Chris Oliver's background, this guy, it was one of my heroes. He still is. I mean, I always have admired him. I knew it was some reason. We share the same birthday. So, but I've always admired him. When I used to hear success, I used to always hear of Chris Oliver. I could never find this guy, but I always wanted to listen to him, but I used to hear nothing but positive things about him. This was a guy who broke records in other companies, and I always wanted to be in business with this guy. And he says, Holton, listen. He said, let me share something with you. He says, man, I'm watching people leave a legacy for me. So I said, what are you talking about? He says, I'm watching people get on planes, go here, and they're leaving all of this United States for me. He says, I don't know what the deal is. He says, but that's how I became #1 in my former company, because everybody started chasing fool's gold. They started chasing fool's gold thinking that there was a future somewhere else. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Where is the better quality of life? It's right here in North America. That's why everybody wants to come here. Where is it the easiest to build? Okay? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried putting together a conference call in Taiwan? They don't do conference calls there. Have you ever tried putting together conference calls in Mexico? Have you ever tried putting together conference calls over in Nigeria? Okay. Have you thought about what's not available in those countries? I'm not trying to say it's not worth it. It is. But you've got to have a plan. You've got to have some type of success here, because if you can't build it here, I promise you can't build it there. Now, you may be able to sponsor. You may be able to get people to sign an application, but we are talking about building a business. Remember, the foundation of any business is the most important element of any business. It is the foundation on which it's built. And if you don't have a rock-solid foundation, I don't care where you go, it will fail. You've got to be ready to anticipate challenges. Let me ask you a question. If I would have told you, hey, listen, I want you to get started and start working in Russia. Well, Russia was really, obviously a big network marketing area. They're embracing it right now. But maybe you didn't understand, in Russia, from one end of the country to the other end is a 9-hour flight. There's 9 different time zones all over Russia, whereas products between the time it's ordered and the time it's received from the very beginning was around 20 days because it took so long. Why? Logistics is not the way it is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, if you're in North America, you're spoiled. You've got it so easy. There's nowhere else in the world where you can order a product, get it get it shipped as quickly as you have it here. Over in Nigeria, we will not ship products. There's no shipping. You live 9 hours away. Guess how you get your product? You come to the office and pick it up. So let me ask you a question. Are you prepared for that? But maybe you're thinking FedEx, UPS, the post office is going to pick up the product. And that's probably what you're thinking. It doesn't work that way. Okay? And so what I'm telling you is have a successful business here. Stop running to where you think it's easier. Successful people, let me share something with you here. This is what I recognize about successful people. When they run up against a challenge, they don't run up against a challenge and find the easy way out. That's a way to become a casualty, okay? That's a way to become a casualty, okay? And so don't ever look for the easy way out. Develop yourself here. Develop yourself into a leader, and then you'll be able to build the business. But Chris Oliver says, Holton, listen. He said, when I saw before all of the people left, he said, I became number one because there was no competition here. There was nobody here to build a business. There was nobody left to build except me, and I became the number one distributor in North America and was making more money than anybody in the company. Okay? And so what I'm sharing with you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Read the book if you haven't read it. Read the book Acres of Diamonds. Okay? Acres of Diamonds. There's a book called Acres of Diamonds, and I'm not going to explain it to you, but you'll understand that. And so I wanted to give you the real deal aspect of international sponsoring, international building, so that you understand that this is a real business that you're going to be building, okay? A real business. Look at our number one income earner in the world. His name is Jose Ardon. Ask Jose Ardon which countries he's been to. Jose Ardon has never, ever, 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 ever went to build organogold in one other country. I never forget when Jose Ardon, he told me, he says, Mr. Holton, he says, is L.A. open? I say, of course it's open. He says, I don't see any diamonds there. And he and I said, why don't you come down to L.A. to do a meeting with me? And Jose and myself flew down to do a meeting, and I'll never forget the first meeting I did in L.A., the entire California organization showed up. They showed up from Northern California, Southern California, all over the place, and all 110 of them showed up. Okay? And Jose Ardon was the person putting the projector together for me. A small meeting, obviously. We were setting up coffee, putting the projector together, and all of that stuff. And he looked around, and guess what he saw? He saw opportunity. That's the reason that he's the number one income earner, because he saw vision. He didn't see, there's nobody in L.A., so let me go where it's easy. He saw opportunity. He says, I'm going to come here, Mr. Holton. I'm going to camp out. He says, he asked me, where are the Spanish people? I said, an area called Downey. And he went over to Downey. And I'll never forget when Jose Ardon went over to Downey. He sponsored people the first day. He came back with 4 gold packs. He met me back at the W Hotel. I think it was 4 gold packs that he met me with of people that he had actually met that day, taking a new prospect out, showing them how to build the business. Okay? And look at the organization that he built in that particular area. Okay? I can tell you right now, we've got states right now. We've got the volume in Florida is almost as big as all the other countries that we have, from an independent or individual standpoint. Okay, the volume from Texas is much larger than the volume from some of these other countries that we may have in Asia. That's not putting those other countries down. I'm sharing with you real business information so that you understand, that we haven't scratched the scratch on the surface yet. Okay. But I know what you're probably saying. You're saying, Holton, everybody I run into told me that they've already seen organogold. They've told me that they've already seen organogold. And it seems to be saturated. It is saturated if you're only looking for networkers. Almost every networker, they're professional lookers. That means that they have a profession of finding out about companies. Well, you have to be an ostrich with your head buried in the sand not to know about organogold if you're a networker, which means that stop looking for networkers. I didn't build my business with networkers. I built my business with ordinary people, most of them of which had not even earned $5,000 a month ever in their lifetime. I did not call Joe Networker, Susie Networker to build organogold. That's not how it started. Okay? And so what you're doing is you're looking to take the easy way out. You're looking for somebody else who's developed themselves over the last 10 years to come in your business and make you rich. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. What you're going to have is you're going to have to have somebody you're going to have to develop those people. I'm getting a text message, Aubrey Bond say, don't forget about me. I'm in Tennessee. I thought Aubrey was over there in Jackson, Mississippi. He's all over the place. But we do have one in Tennessee. Sorry about that, Aubrey. But anyway, you're going to have to go develop those people, okay? Stop, one of the phrases I've heard a long time ago, stop looking for a leader and become one. Stop looking for a leader and become a leader. There's no easy way to build this business. It is called network marketing with the capital W, okay? The capital W, not net easy network marketing, not net let me have somebody else to build it for me marketing, not net put somebody on my pay leg marketing. No, that's not what it's called. Not net give me some spillover marketing, network marketing. I wish, I don't wish this because I knew I wouldn't be the builder today if it did happen. I've had zero spillover since I've been in network marketing. Zero. I worked my first dual team on my first binary compensation plan back in 2001. That is 13 years ago, and I'm still waiting for the day for a person to place somebody down below me. When I got into Organo Gold, I told my sponsor, and I told Shane Moran, I said, listen, with all respect, don't worry about placing anybody over here because I am off to the races. I am off to the races. I said, listen, I just want to have my organization kind of clean anyway. I don't want to have any riffraff, so let me go out there and let me go build it. And that's why in my first 28 days I put 21 on my left and 21 on my right. There's no luck involved. I worked it because I understood that there was a capital W, okay, and bold print, underlined with an asterisk over it. That's the way I looked at it. It's not net, okay, well, somebody else is going to do this for me. Net, I'll get lucky marketing, network marketing. You're going to have to do that. And at some period of time, you're going to have to go to work. Well, let me ask you a question. How many of you would like to go live over in Africa for 6 months or 9 months out of the year when it's not so stable over there from an economic standpoint? Okay, when there's wars and things of that nature. I'm not putting that country down, but guys, you're spoiled. Thailand, they just had a coup d'etat over in Thailand and trying to overthrow the government. You want to go live over there? Okay? No, right here. This is where your opportunity is. Okay? And this is my philosophy here. Until you've got the money and the experience to develop an international market, don't look at international until you talk to your neighbor and your whole street has coffee. Until your whole neighborhood knows that you're the coffee person. They should be laughing, laughing at you or buying your product, but they got to do one or the other. Okay? If they're not laughing at you, they should be buying your product. Okay? And if they're not doing either of them, it's because you're part of the Organo Gold Coffee Secret Service, which means that you've kept it a secret and you want to go across the waters to build and find a diamond instead of find one right in your neighborhood. Okay? I'm so glad I called Edwin Haynes. Lives right in my neighborhood. Very easy for me to talk to him. I'm so glad I found David Munitier. He lives right there in my neighborhood. Very easy to talk to him. Very easy to go do a meeting for him. Very simple. I'm so glad that I found Barry Koshu. He lives right there. I can go walk my dog, walk out on the street, and I can right on the golf course, and he can be in his backyard, and I can see him, right from over there. Very convenient, very simple, very easy. I look at one of our other diamonds that's right here. Look at Jeff and Lisa Jill Malva, okay, who built a huge diamond ship. And I don't know if Jeff has even gone to 3 or 4 different states. I know he's gone to Colorado before, and I know he's gone to Florida and California, which is where they live. You know why? He said, hey, hold on for a second. Southern California, there's millions of people in Southern California. Why do I need to go all the way across to New York unless I'm developing something over there? But building a strong, solid business right here in North America. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that there is no shortcuts. The shortcut is NWM. Network marketing is the shortcut. Anything else is called the 40-40 plan. 40 years, 40 hours a week, and retire on 40% of what you already can't live on. When you signed your network marketing Organo Gold application, that was the shortcut. Do not try to shortcut the shortcut. Do not try to shortcut the shortcut. Okay? There is no crystal balls. There is no secret sauce. There is no easy way to do this. Okay? It's either you're going to do it and do it the right way, do it the full way, get the full experience, or you're going to get the experience of being on somebody's job for 40 years. That's just the real truth. I can't say it any nicer than that. I can't be any easier on you than that. It's just the truth. Okay? And so what we're saying is this. We said to work our system here for 18 months. Now remember, if you've got 18 months, you get involved in our business, 18 months. That means that you've got a good self-image. On a scale of 1 to 10, your self-image is somewhere between a 7 and a 9. A 7 and an 8. 18 months. Yeah, you can set yourself up to be completely financially independent for 18 months if you do that. All right? But if you're not there, it's going to take a little bit more time. If your self-image is kind of, a little bit low in the toilet maybe, and that's okay. Some people come in that way. Maybe it's going to take you 3 years. This is 18 months to 5 years. Jose Ardon said when he heard me say 18 months, he thought I said 18 years, and he was so excited because the only other plan that he knew of was a 40-year plan. And now I was going to give him 22 years to be free. He says, hold on, I can do it in 18 years and not 40? Sign me up. That was 22 years less than what the normal plan was. But then he came to another training, and he heard me say 18 months, and he got fired up and excited. He got even more excited. He thought it was a mistake. Why? Because he knew what the real plan was. He knew from where he was from that people go their whole life and they never retire with any dignity. And over here, 40 years was the big dream. And then when I shared with him 18 months and he thought 18 years, that was incredible to him. So what you're going to have to do is realize, hey, listen, am I willing to do this? Am I willing to man up? Am I willing to woman up? Strong words, but this is the real deal here. Am I willing to man up? Am I willing to woman up? And say, you know what, I'm going to go after this thing for 18 months to 5 years. 18 months to 5 years, following the one voice, following one system, following my plugged-in upline, doing my CJMs, sampling coffee, servicing 10 customers per month, having 10 people buy from me per month. Am I going to do that for 18 months? If you're not willing to do it in the United States, don't go somewhere else and mess those people up over there. Okay, and give our company a bad name because you go over, hype people up, and come back over here thinking that they're going to do it. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so understand the biggest piece of the pie. The biggest piece of the pie is right here where you are, and so what you got to start is you got to start making sure that you work the pie right here. Work this pie right here in North America, and I promise you, you can get everything that you want. You can live the way that you want to live. Okay? You can live the way that you want to live. Now, let's go ahead and get into our regular training that we have, part 2. Let's get into part 2 of our training, and I'm going to recap. I'm going to recap the first parts that I gave you last week, and it was talking about. I was talking about the 10 signs of being addicted to failure. The 10 signs that you are addicted to failure. Last week I talked about many of us we always follow up and we always study success, and we study what people do to become successful, but we've never really taken a real strong look at what failures do. I've got a real strong theory that failure should also do seminars. So often people go to success seminars and they see successful people do seminars and only a small percentage of people become successful from it. Why? Because they never go out and do what the people tell them. I believe if you do what we talk about on this millionaire call, there's no doubt in my mind, in my opinion, you can become a multimillionaire. But there's only about 1/4 of 1% of the people who take the advice that we give. Many of you listen to it and embrace it. You put it into your mental diary and you say, I accept it. But acting on it, less than 1/4 of 1% of the people ever do it. That's why there's only a handful of diamonds out of the hundreds of thousands of distributors that we have, because only a 1/4 of 1% do it. So everybody is available to do it. But failure seminars, what if you had somebody who accomplished nothing in their life, and they told you about all the opportunities, they told you what their habits were, and they told you what they did on a regular basis, and you were able to see yourself in the mirror? Because, see, what happens is we measure up ourselves by our intentions when it comes to successful people. We intend to do the things that they do, and so we start feeling good about it. Why? Because those are our intentions. I intend to read books. I intend to listen to tapes. I intend to show the plan, and so we start feeling real good about it. Okay? But when you really start to look at failures, people who fail, find a person who quit OrganoGold. Go interview a person who quit OrganoGold and listen to the 1 million excuses that they'll give you as to why it didn't work for them. But also look at their habits. Look at what they didn't do. Okay? Look at the things that they didn't do. You can't tell me they did the 2020 plan. You can't tell me they did the 2020 plan. You can't tell me that they've got a calendar showing the plan 4 times a week, averaging $1,000 in volume per meeting, okay? Making sure they have 5 qualified prospects at every meeting. You can't do that because a person does not quit OrganoGold when they're at the top of their game. They only quit when they stop doing what they did or when they're not seeing results. But remember, they're judging themselves based off of their intentions from coming to Project 50,000, from coming to convention, from coming to a Super Saturday. My intentions are good. These are the things that I intend to do, but they never do them. They never do them. 1/4 of 1% of the people do them. Remember, as I'm always in a seminar, I say I'm looking for one person. And that's the truth. I'm always looking for one. I don't expect to get everybody to go diamond. I don't expect that. Okay? And so identifying the things that failures do is just as important, okay, at some period of time to listening to success. So now I believe you need more success principles than following up with what failures do because, see, what I'm doing on this call is holding up the mirror to you. It's holding up the mirror to you so that you'll see what are the tendencies that I have because some of us have some failure incident tendencies in us. Now, when I say that, that's not me calling you a failure. A failure is permanent. When you have quit, you failed. Don't say the business didn't work. It didn't work for me. Oh, well, no. You failed. You failed to do what was required to succeed. While you're still in, while you still have a pulse, while you still have life in you, you're not a failure. You have just gone through some failure experiences, and you can change it at any moment. You can change it at any moment. Number one I talked about last week was you're addicted to the approval of other people. Okay? Their opinion of you is more important their opinion is more important than yours. So sometimes what happens to failures is that they don't feel so good about themselves that when they give themselves advice or the thought process they have, they never trust it. Even after they've gotten all of the evidence and all of the experience and all of the information, they still don't believe in themselves, so they let other people make the decisions for them. Case in point, you see the plan. You go and ask Uncle Leroy because he's a school teacher, what do you think about this business? You saw the presentation. Uncle Leroy didn't. But Uncle Leroy has a master's degree and maybe basket weaving in school. Okay? And so you ask him because he has a master's degree. Why? Because you don't believe in your opinion. You saw the fact. Uncle Leroy didn't. And what happens is Uncle Leroy says, well, you need to get a real good job. These things here, I've been involved with them before. And what happens, you listen to Uncle Leroy, and Uncle Leroy is leading you down a path of failure. Okay? That was number one. Number two I talked about was you entertain yourself instead of educate yourself. What do I mean by that? Entertaining yourself. Most of us right now, we're into entertainment. We will sit down and watch television programs 3.5 hours a day every single day, but won't take 30 minutes to read a book or listen to something that is going to empower us or take us to where it is that we want to go. I want you to understand that your ears, your eyes, and your mouth, all of that is programming. It is your navigational system to where it is that you're going to go in life. Whatever it is that you intake, the information that you intake, those are the only places that you can go. So when you intake television, when you intake gossip programs, when you intake, what we call negative television, when you intake that for so many hours a day, it becomes a part of who you are. Now, I know you say, well, I can control it. Well, you can't because that's your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, it takes over by input. The more input you get, the more it goes ahead and operates. Okay? And so that's why you've got to learn how to disassociate with negative programming. You've got to learn how to empower yourself, impact yourself, educate yourself, pop in a tape, pop in a book, sit down, read a book, listen to some tapes, meditate, whatever it is that you're doing, you've got to give yourself and feed yourself, feed your brain. You've got to feed your brain. If you don't feed your plants will die. Most of you put more time into feeding your plants than you do into feeding your future. Number 3. You blame others for your circumstances. Somebody else is to blame for why I'm here. It's the Democrats. It's the Republicans. It's whoever it is, okay? Because this person's in office, that's why the economy is bad. That's why I can't sign anybody up. You know, it's always the blame game. You've got to get out of the blame game. I can tell you for every challenge that you've ever had, every failure that you've had, there's one person who's always present, you. Nobody else's fault. It is your fault. It is you. It is your fault. Now, I can't say that other things haven't influenced some of the circumstances, but you're totally responsible. I want you to get out of being a victim. Being a victim is not cute. Being a victim is not fun, and being a victim has nothing to do with a successful person whatsoever. You cannot be a victim on your way to success. Stop being a victim. Number 4, you're afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid of making mistakes, so you go off and you do nothing. Okay? When you go off and you do nothing just because you're afraid of making mistakes, guess what? That's the biggest mistake that you're making. Being afraid, being hesitant. I call it being baked in a squat. You won't make a decision. You're indecisive. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, no one wants an indecisive leader. That doesn't mean that you're going to have all the answers. I'm not saying that that you got to make hasty decisions just for the sake of being quick. What I am saying is feed yourself, feed your conscience, feed yourself educational-wise so that you can be quick to make decisions. Once you get the facts, you're now educated. You can make a decision. Yes, I'm going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. Okay? And stick with your decisions. As I talked about in Napoleon Hill's book, he talked about one of the key traits of successful people is that they gather all the facts and they're very quick to make a decision, and they very seldom turn back. They very seldom go back on their decision. But one of the traits of failures is that they're very slow to make decisions. They never get all the facts, and then once they make a decision, they always change it. They go back and forth. Well, yeah. Well, no. No, I'm going to move here. No, I'm not. Yes, I'm going to join this. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not. Well, I was going to go to P50K or convention, but I don't think so. Well, I don't know if I can tell you, it's like going to dinner, and you can't even make up your mind what you want to eat. If you can't make up your mind what you want to eat, how in the world are you going to lead people to a financial future? Be decisive. Be decisive. Some of you, maybe you say, well, I'm just not a decisive person. It's because you've trained yourself to be that way. Train yourself to be decisive. Start small by making small decisions that may not be so massively important, but over time, you will learn how to make decisions, and you'll become more empowered and more focused and more confident in your own decisions. Number 5, you stay in relationships that obviously are not working. We talked about that. That's one that's for leadership training. At Ruby Retreat, we're really going to expand on this. Staying in a relationship that's obviously not working is a sign of a person who's addicted to failure. Okay? When you're in a relationship with somebody and it's going nowhere, what you're doing is you're wasting time. You're not investing time, you're wasting time. That is the equivalent of going to the casinos, knowing for a fact that this slot machine is broken, but you're still going to put your money in it and pull the handle too. You know for a fact it's already broken. They've already programmed it that it will never give you the lucky numbers, and you know that. They've already told you that, but you sit there and you put dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar into the slot machine saying, what's wrong with this slot machine? You already know it's broken. When your relationships are that way, you've got to learn either how to mend or heal those relationships, or you need to exit. I'm not giving anybody advice or permission to say, hey, listen, I got to get out of this relationship. I heard Holton and this marriage stinks. I'm gone. See you later, honey. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. You need to seek some counseling, and if your relationships, if your marriage is not working, go get some professional help. Go seek a marriage counselor. Stop being afraid of letting the right people get involved, and the people who have your solutions, let them get involved in your problems. Stop getting the people who already have the same issue you have, like your girlfriend who doesn't have a man. Stop taking her advice on how to keep yours, because they never give you the right advice. Okay? They never, ever, ever give you the right advice. It doesn't work. Get you some of the right help, get you some of the right advice, but make sure your relationships are thriving. Make sure that they are growing. All right, now, part 2. Part 2, obviously this call is going to go over as well as all of them do. Part 2, let's go to number 6. The 6th sign that you're addicted to failure is that you have a habit of watching the NBA Finals during this particular call. I know I'm getting some of y'all right now. I know some of y'all are probably tuned in to the finals, watching. I can't miss these finals, but no, that's not one of them. But turn it off for a moment. I'm doing this call. I was supposed to be at the game, But it was more important for me to do this training than to go sit there at the game. LeBron's got his hundreds of millions. Okay? Dwayne Wade got his hundreds. Tim Duncan's got his. I want you to get yours. They're not going to share one dime to you, with you. But this is the way that you're going to be able to get yours right here. But let's go to number 6. Number 6, this is part 2, starting from today, ending from last week, is number 6 sign that you're addicted to failure is that you're addicted to drama. You are addicted to drama. Have you ever realized that the majority of your conversations are about other people? That your life really looks like a reality TV show. If you ever look at reality TV, it's all about drama. The more drama, the more people are going to listen and look. They don't do too many reality television shows on positive aspects of people's lives because nobody wants to watch that. But your conversation, the reason the people are around you, the reason that you have friends, the reason that they text you and call you up is because they want to give you the latest gossip. They want to give you the latest drama. And the relationships and the friendships that you interact with, guess what? They are all about some kind of dramatic fashion that you've already undergone. You've got to get out of the drama aspects of your life. Every aspect of your life cannot be a dramatic episode. Typically, you are the lead of the star role player in that type of activity. Okay? And the thing about it is this: don't stay in relationships that are very argumentative. Earlier and I was having a talk, and many of you ladies who attended the Women Who Win luncheon, I'm sure you heard her talk about a recent experience that she had with an organization, and she talked about it. And we were just sitting there talking about, just how to have relationships that are meaningful and fulfilling. And one of the things that we talked about is that a lot of times, most people have not learned how to engage in healthy, fulfilling relationships. They haven't learned how to do that. And we talked about specifically people who have means. Typically, people who have means are first-generational wealth people. They engage in the same type of drama. When you start getting down to the second and third generation, that's when you start to learn that, these people, they're used to it, and they understand how to have meaningful relationships. Okay? And so what I'm saying is don't hang around or get addicted to being around a drama-filled person that when they come, you know that here's Channel 7, here's CNN that's coming, here's TMZ. If that's kind of who you think they are probably going to bring you down. They're probably going to bring you down. Okay? And so that's just one of the things that you need to look out for. Don't get addicted to being around drama all the time. Number 7, you spend time with people who are going nowhere. You spend time with people who are going nowhere. This is one here, ladies and gentlemen, that I want you to really understand. You're going to have to learn the power of disassociation, or the power of limited access. Okay? Disassociation and limited access. Jim Rohn said it best. He says that the average of your income is going to be the average of the 5 closest friends that you spend the most time with. Take a look at that. Look and see who you invest your time with. Is that going to bring you down or is that bringing you up? We also talk about, Ernie and myself, we talk about making sure that we surround ourselves with people who we are impressed with. So many times we're there to lift other people up, and which is great. That's a role that we have. But we also have to be lifted. We also got to put ourselves in a ring of people who our lifestyle is cute to them. It's cute. Oh, yeah, that's cute. I see what you're doing. That's cute. Those are the type of people that I get inspired to be around, and you got to do the same thing. If you understand it, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, the habits and the philosophies of people who have something going on in their life, they will rub off on you. I promise you, it has to happen. It's a life. It's God's purpose. It's really what it is. But it's the same thing for people who are going nowhere. They also, their philosophies and their habits will rub off on you. So what it is that whoever you surround yourself with, they're going to rub off on you. So now you've got a choice. Who do I want to rub off on me? Okay? I had an experience this past weekend, and I was so proud of my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, she asked me a question. She had a friend of hers, or an associate, I'll say, who, she told me about, this, the path that the girl was on and some of her habits, and my sister-in-law just decided not to pay much attention to this girl. And the girl kept calling her, so she finally answered the phone call and talked to her. And one of the first things she asked her is, how's Organo Gold going? How's Organo Gold? And she said it in a very negative tone. And she says, well, I want to let you know you can't make any money over there, right? You do know that, right? Now, she's talking to my sister-in-law, all right? I can see if she's talking to the sister-in-law, somebody who's just got involved in the business, but she's talking to my sister-in-law. How are you going to tell my sister-in-law you can't make any money? Some other sister-in-law says, well, you can make money. No, you can't make any money over there. And she gave a story. Well, this person here, she's a ruby. And the only way she's in the ruby is because she's able to associate with this person, this person, this person. But if you can't associate with them, you can't make any money. Okay? And my sister-in-law says, Holton, let me ask you a question. I'm really, really concerned about my association with her. Should I really just cut her off? What should I do in this situation? And I didn't answer it. I didn't give it an answer. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you think hanging around her is going to take you to where you want to go? She says, no. I said, well, that's your answer. She says, well, that's it, cutting her off. See, sometimes you got to be bold enough, and I was so proud of her because she made the decision. I didn't make it. She made the decision to cut that negative root off. Why? Because where there's a negative root is going to bring negative results, and she wants positive one. And I promise you, the energy that it takes to entertain negative relationships with one person, you can use that same energy, and you can have 5 positive, empowering relationships that will take you to where you need to go. Okay? Because that one person will drain the energy of 5 people. Okay? So you've got to make sure that you stop associating with people who are going nowhere. Number 8, okay? You're careless with money. One sign that you're addicted to failure is that you are careless with money. Typically what this means is that you run out of money before you run out of month. And I know you say, well, Holton, I don't make enough money. The job doesn't pay me so well. No, that's just the result of some of your addictions to failure. If you go back and look at the first 7 things, and if you change some of them, guess what? You will also be attracting, because you hang around successful people, you will start attracting opportunities that pay more money. You will start understanding that there's opportunities that you have to increase your skill set, to become more valuable to society. Therefore, you'll get paid a bigger trade for your time. Or you will get a bigger commission for what it is that you're selling if you are self-employed, okay? Or you'll make more profits if you have a corporation or a company, if you start the process of association. Do you think that I would have had the belief that I have right now had I not hung around the people that I hung around in within this industry? Having a person that I listen to over and over and over again who makes $1 million every 17 hours? Listening to him over and over, and he and his wife over and over and over again, okay? 2 of the first billionaires from network marketing. Do you really believe that I would dream the dream that I have? I told you last week my dreams are so big I need 2 pillows to sleep, okay? Why? It's not because of that's not ego. It's because of the people that I hang around. I hang around people who got way more than I have. I want to be in association with people who make in a month what I make in a year. That stretches me. Why? Because I understand in life that there's no amount of money that's enough. There's no such thing as enough. It only becomes enough if you have out-earned your dreaming capacity. How does Oprah Winfrey do the OWN show? She's got billions. Does she have enough money? No, she doesn't have enough because her dream is still big. Most of you associate dreams with the purchases of material things. Dreams have little to do with the purchasing of material possessions. Okay? Those are just some of the results. The things that we buy, that's the show. When we come to events and we talk about that stuff and you see the bling, why? Because people believe what they see. That's what it is. When you see the Mercedes program, people believe you're making money. That's what it is. The money that we give a person, $1,000 for a Mercedes-Benz, guess what? If we gave them a $1,000 check or put them in a Mercedes-Benz and paid $1,000 to the Mercedes-Benz, the same equivalent, the Mercedes-Benz says more about the success of that person than the money we gave them, and it was going to be the same anyway. Why? Because people are image conscious. But I don't want you to think that dreams have to do with material possessions. The material possessions are just a result of some of the accomplishments of the goals along the way to pursuing the dream. That's what the material things are. Okay? That's what that is. But you can't You can't be careless with money, okay? You know, one other sign that you're addicted to failure is that none of your money works for you. You're an ultimate consumer. Everything that you do has to do with the consumption of money, okay? I mean, the consumption of goods and trade for your hard-earned work, which means that when you leave here, you will have nothing to pass on to your kids, nothing to show for what you've done because you're an ultimate consumer, okay? You've got to learn to have money coming in your way. See, most people think you've got to be rich. No, you just got to have a philosophy. I teach a course at the Ruby Retreat called What to Do with the Dollar. We show you exactly what to do with your money. So why? Because our goal is to show you how to live a thriving, successful life way beyond your active pursuit of organo gold. This is life principles that we teach here, not just network marketing or organo gold principles here. Okay? And so you've got to get the money situation right. Stop saying I'm broke. Stop saying I can't afford. Okay? The language that you use also is the navigational system towards your finances. I can't afford means that your navigational system drives you towards not being able to afford it the next time. I've never, ever, ever, ever told my son we can't afford it. I've never told my wife we can't afford it, except one time when we wanted to buy our first house. I said, we can't afford that. Why? I didn't think the way I think now. I use the terms now like it's not the right time. I need a little more time in order for us to go ahead and accomplish that. Let's get a couple more weeks or a couple more months of commissions up on our belt, and then we'll be ready for that purchase. Things like that. But I never say I can't afford. Even when I hear other people say I can't afford that, that's too expensive. I cringe because I've trained my self-image to stop using that vocabulary. Why? Because I only use that vocabulary when I was addicted to failure. Okay? The other thing is this here. You fake it until you make it. The other sign of being addicted to failure is faking it till you make it. You fake it till you look good, you smell good, but you can't rub two nickels together. Your image is more important to you than your balance sheet on your bank account. Okay? I want you to understand, we are in an image-based business, but you should not sacrifice your financial foundation for an image. You can't do that. It's not healthy. It's a sign that you are addicted to failure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up here. So I think right at the top of the hour, maybe some people get disconnected because maybe our next call has fewer lines on it. But anyway, let's go ahead and roll through the rest of these here. But being careless with money, as we talked about, you don't have any assets. Okay? Money doesn't work for you. Your spending habits is your biggest liability. Take a look at your account. Look to see what's your biggest liability. What investments do you have? What do you have that's of value? Okay? Or all that you have is cash and clothes. Do you have cash and clothes, cash and cars, cash and jewelry, cash and rims? What do you have that is of value? What do you have that is an increasing value? I'd recommend you take something, put it away every single month. I don't care what you have. Put it away every single month. Have something to show. If you're a grown man or woman living in America, there is no reason for you not to have something that's working for you monetarily. It has nothing to do with the amount of money that you make. It has everything to do with your philosophy. Now, I know that I'm walking and stepping on and even stomping on many people's toes. It is my intention to do so. I'm intending to. I'm not trying to be easy on you right now because, see, the easy way leads to being broke. The easy way leads to, man, I wish somebody had told me. The easy way says, man, you know what, when you're getting evicted, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And I'm not here the perfect one. I want you to understand all of these things here, these are mistakes that I've made. All of these failure things here, these are my mistakes. These are my mistakes. Some of them I fully corrected. Some of them I'm still working on. I'm not perfect, but I'm giving you some things of being addicted to failure, okay? And so you're going to have to learn how to be good with money. You're going to have to learn how to be good with money. Number 9. Let's talk about number 9 here real quick. Number 9, that you have dreams, but you have no set goals. I told you, there's plenty of people who have dreams. Dreams, you know what, it's easy to have. That's real simple. You can listen to us on stage, and we can paint a dream for you. You can watch television, and you can get a dream. And you can watch the lifestyles of the rich and famous. You can watch Cribs or whatever shows that they have that really highlight the rich and famous or whatever it is, and you can have dreams and watch the Travel Channel and things of that nature. Those are dreams. Dreams are real easy to have. I want you to understand that dreams also can make you lazy. Dreams by themselves can make you lazy. And Holton, what are you talking about? I thought you had to have a big dream. You do have to have a big dream. But a dream by itself, ladies and gentlemen, will turn into a nightmare if you don't have any goals. A dream will turn into a nightmare if you don't have any goals. Goals are the check marks along the way in the pursuit of your dream. Okay? If you were driving from Houston, Texas, and if you were on your way to Philadelphia, would you know the check marks? Would you know which, your mile markers that you've got to check off? Would you know? You've got to, am I going in the right direction? You've got to pay attention. You've got to look at your plan first. Look at your plan to see what does the plan say? Does the plan say you're supposed to take this particular freeway? If there's a detour, how do you get back on track? Those are your goals. How much time to the next city or to the next state? But I can't just say I'm leaving from Houston to go on to Philadelphia. I don't have a plan, and I'm going to get there when I get there. No, I'm dreaming now, but that's going to make me lazy because if that's the only thing that I have is just a dream, I'm not going to put the work in to develop a specific plan. We tell you on your way to Diamond, there's certain checkpoints. We say 20-20 plan. We say put 6 on your left, 6 on your right. See, that's the goal. 20-20 plan is the dream. In this example, it's the dream. 20 on your left, 20 on your right, it's the dream. It's the foundation for Diamond. It is the #1 lifestyle in the world, but what's the plan? What's the goal? First goal is sponsor 12, 6 on your left, 6 on your right. That's going to take you to Sapphire. You'll identify 3 to 4 legs that are actually working the business. That's a goal. When you put 6 on your left, 6 on your right, if you don't have 3 to 4 that's working the business, you know what that means? It means that you missed your goal. It means that you got to do it over again. You got to set that foundation right. That's the goal. What's the next goal? It says 30 days to 60 days, 6 and 6. The next 60 days to 120 days, put another 6 on your left, another 6 on your right. Okay? And then from 120 days up to 180 days, 8 on your left, 8 on your right. It should give you 12 to 16 working legs. 90 days after that, you should be able to build enough volume on that foundation to go diamond. Diamond is the dream. The lifestyle is the dream. The 20-20 plan is the foundation. It's the goals. You've got to have goals, check marks along the way to your foundation. People who are addicted to failure have got big dreams. Talk about what they want. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Sounds real good. They get around their broke friends, or they occasionally get around somebody who's going somewhere, and they talk about their dreams so that they can impress that person, but they have no real goals. They have no specific goals at all. Chris Oliver and I were sitting there at lunch, and an ex-professional basketball player comes up over here us talking about business. He approaches us. I'm hearing you guys talking about business and international stuff and blah, blah, blah. Can I have one of you guys' business cards? Now, I was on a call, and Chris Oliver is talking to this guy, and after we finished talking, he said, man, this guy's all over the place. He got a lot of dreams, but he has no goals. He was trying to impress Chris by talking about this and talking about that, but he has no specific goals. I want you to understand, don't try to impress the successful person. They can already see through it. They don't look to be impressed. You want to impress them? Show them the simplicity of the philosophy of goals. They don't want to hear about all the dreams. Show them the game. What's the game plan? They understand. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a dream. You've heard the term, you got a pipe dream. A pipe dream means it's a dream that has no goals attached to it. You don't want to be that. That's not who you want to be or where you want to be. Okay? And so the main thing you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, you got to put the work in. Okay? You've got to put the work in. Okay? You say you want certain things, but you do nothing whatsoever to obtain them. Okay? You wish your life got better, but you make no commitment to improve yourself or your circumstances. What are you doing right now? Do something. You can't say, I want this, but haul off and do nothing. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Number 10 sign or habit to show that you are addicted to failure is that you think other people who are successful got there by luck. You think it just happened for them. You think somebody gave it to them. You think, well, you know what, I was not born into the right family, so that's why I'm not rich. That's why I didn't go diamond. Well, I don't speak this language, so that's why I can't go diamond. I see why this group right here goes diamond, because they speak one of the Asian languages, so that's why they're going diamond. I see why this person's going diamond, because you know what, their daddy was rich. Oh, I see why this person here is successful, because you know what, that person had a mother and a father in the home, and I grew up and I didn't even have my mom, or I didn't even have my dad, or I didn't have either of my parents. So what? For every excuse that you give me of why you failed, I can find 100 people who succeeded in spite of with your same set of circumstances, and they may have even been worse. The circumstances may have even been worse. So get up off of your pity party and stop looking at everybody else for what you think they've done that you can't do. Get off of it, move on with it, and start making something of your life. And stop blaming everybody. Well, you know what? If Holton was my sponsor, I'd be more successful too. Let me share something with you. I'm probably the toughest person to be your sponsor. Why? Because I don't have the time to give to you to develop. I don't. That's why I don't sponsor a lot of people, because it's not fair to them. It is not fair for me to enroll a new person knowing that I do not have the time. I've got a very large corporation that I've got to lead and lead into where we're going into the future. I don't have time to say, this is a left leg, this is a right leg, this is called auto. I don't have that type of time. So stop thinking that if I was your sponsor, you'd be further along. Okay? Why do you think we've developed the leadership that we've developed? So that they have the time to do what you do, to work with you. Stop making all of those excuses, ladies and gentlemen, because excuses are useless. They are useless. Okay? It's not about what somebody else has done. It's not about, I was not at the right place at the right time. Okay? It's not about lucky. When you start saying that people are lucky, no, they're not successful because they're lucky, or they went to the right school, or they grew up in the right neighborhood, or you know what? If I got in when Abby Akiola got in, or if I got in when this diamond got in, I would be successful too. Well, these diamonds that they didn't get in. Chad and Atita, they didn't get in when we got in. Barry Koshu didn't get in when we got in. Lisa Jill Marvel didn't get in when we got into the business. Suleiman Rockwell wasn't there when I got into the business. They weren't in when we got in. Okay? Edward Hartley was not in when I got in the business. Okay? He got in much later. Much later. And I can go diamond after diamond after diamond after diamond after diamond. Jose Ardon didn't even get in when I got in. John Secturis didn't get in when I got involved in the business. Okay? Christian Steinkeller wasn't even in when I got involved in the business. None of the crowns were in at the time when I was getting started. None of them. Has nothing to do with it when somebody else got in. Well, you know what? If it was an earlier stage, I'd be successful. Nope. Has nothing to do with it. None of those things have anything to do with why you're addicted to failure. Okay? And so at the end of the day, I want you to understand this. If it is to be, it's up to me. Okay? If it is to be, it's up to me. For things to change, I must change. For my circumstances to change, I must change. For my results to change, I must change. For my income to change, I must change. For my association to change, I must change. Okay? All of those things have to do with decisions that you can make. You have the power to make those decisions. You have the power to empower yourself. We decided to become who we are. Nobody put us here. We decided this. People say, did you ever think that you'd be where you are? Of course I thought about it. It's all I thought about, where I was going. That's why I'm here. It's not by luck. This is not a exercise of just, of happenstance. Where we are, we always knew we'd be here. And if you're where you are, you never thought you'd be there, it's because you didn't have a plan. And if you're somewhere successful and you never thought you'd be there, you're probably not going to stay there too long. I knew for a fact we were going to be here. Okay? My son, he knows he's going to be an international star. He already knows it. He's planning on it. It's all he thinks about every single day. So when it happens, I'm not going to be surprised because this is all he thinks about. It's all he focuses on. It's all he's preparing for. And if he can do it at 16 years old, you can do it as an adult. You can do it as an adult as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to be whatever it is that you choose to be, but at the end of the day, you still got to make that choice. So go out there, make the choice, make a big one. Those of you who will be here this weekend, we'll see you over in San Diego, California, at our VIP red carpet, fired up and excited to be here with those of you who are going to be here in this area. Those of you who are not, we'll be seeing you also at Ruby Retreat. We'll be announcing the specific dates on not next week, but the week after's call. Stop calling, asking when is it going to be. Just qualify, okay? Qualify. Right now, it's not going to be in June. It's not going to be in July. It's not going to be in August. So qualify, okay? Just go get qualified so when we announce it, you'll be ready, okay? When we announce it, you will be ready. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, many of you who are going to be listening to the Spanish call, Jose Ardon will be doing that one coming up. Remember, it's easy, it's simple, it's coffee. We love each and every one of you, and we'll see you at the top. Goodbye, everybody.